glad you're here. And this is for your mom. She like orders me stuff. That's
I got it. You guys.
You sure? You good?
Yep.
Okay.
That's about fine.
I was gonna say, I don't know this buildings.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just magically get on it.
We have that new girl.
the new girl.
Hey, what's up? Are you
Can
nervous?
you introduce yourself to
Give a
us?
3-minute speech.
No, you don't have to.
No,
Okay, 2-minute speech.
you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. I think so. What do you need?
Two. Oh, two. Oh, okay. What happened?
You get some.
I don't want that. How many can I get for $400?
We are kind of a big.
Everybody's like, "Oh, what's that thing in the corner? Oh, that's not that little thing."
You're on the executive ownership team. You can.
I'll figure it out. Things aren't rotating like it's supposed to.
Do you want to use mine? Department, because I don't.
Which this one?
All the time.
I got one over here.
Get us.
And
They're bad.
he's not here.
Do you want a paper backup?
Oh,
Shall we?
All right.
He gets a paper effort.
Paper effort.
Paper effort.
It's just a small one, right?
Evening, everyone. Welcome to the August regular work session of the Blackhawk School Board of Directors. We're happy to see everyone tonight and be back here meeting. At this time, would you please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Van Schlench, would you please call roll?
sure thing. Mrs. Klein. Mr. Huziak. Dr. McCosey. Mrs. Ansel.
Here.
Mr. Schopp.
Here.
Dr. Sprinker.
Here.
I'm here. Mr. Wisner.
Here.
And Mr. Zakowitz.
Here.
We have 6 of them.
There was an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss personnel, safety, and legal matters. 1.5 solicitors report. Thanks for being here, David.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And, we did review a few of the items on the agenda for tonight.
I can't hear you. That closer.
We reviewed a few of the items on the agenda for tonight, including the school board agreement, human resource agreement. I'm happy to answer any questions from the board as those items come. Thanks.
Thanks. We will move on to agenda items number in the 2 area, and we'll start with our superintendent update.
So we have quite a few updates this evening. First and foremost, school is right around the corner. So we are looking forward to our buildings being filled with our students again. Activities and athletics are also starting. So it's a very exciting time that we have. We have first, I think that you're going to have a brief presentation on some facilities aspects. And then we will have Mr. Riccio speak maybe to some aspects. I saw him come in, but I don't see it there. And then I think we also have technology presentations for us this evening. We then have our new student rep joining us, and she will have an opportunity to introduce herself and have a brief overview. And there may be some other couple things as they come up. So if I could turn your attention, Mr. Fleischman, if you would speak to some things. If you recall, back in June, we had some capital projects that the board approved, such as rooftop units, 2 on the high school. We had a chiller over at Biz, as well as some paving. I believe there was also a water pit area and a pool, the pool aspect. So go ahead, take it away.
Okay, Hey, everybody, can you hear me okay?
No. You might have to turn it on.
Needs to go to you guys.
Just throw it.
No, this one.
Okay, so, quite a few things going on this summer and, probably the best summer since I've been here, as far as getting voting ready and, having motivated team. But we're mostly talking about the new capital projects, first of which you can see up there above, the athletic area, which frequently is called the commons area at the high school. Have two-field rooftop units that are in dire need of replacement. And this was identified in a study that we did of the need for the district, so this one is right near the bottom. So this area includes the weight room, the wrestling room, the dance studio, and the commons area for the salon. And so the best price we could do, first of all, you guys funded a study to determine if the existing units were appropriate. As I suspected, they were both oversized, one dramatically, one not so much. So we used the recommendations from they took plans to resize those units, and these are the results of the price we got to replace those units with what we see the mechanical being a little bit of and all that's $78,935. Our next project. Anybody else have a question, please?
How much did that come in under bid? Do you know?
I think that came in about $20,000 under what we expected it to cost. And the Biz Chiller replacement project, I don't want to identify it as very important. We had a little bit of, quite a bit of discussion about this one, and we ended up choosing the option, which was the training unit also. Occupancy, and that was $300,172. That is for a brand new chiller. Includes a refrigerant leak detection system, sound kit on the noisy parts of the chiller, preventing ourselves to the neighbors, community over the lights. We looked at the renovation of the existing machine project with a brand new refrigerant monitor and so forth. We would need that we were far out into this project. This one made the most sense. The last one had that they did a very advanced machine working on our budget. And so dollar for dollar, I think the Huckabee option was the best. So also identified on our facilities budget plan for this year was the ceiling of the parking lot here at Highland, which we have that completed. You can go outside and see that plan today. Looks like $1 million. We had that done locally by Waterson paving, beautifying golf course. The pool lift that Dr. Banana had mentioned a moment ago, which is that ADA, our swimming pool. That project also is finished. That was done by BNR Pools, who is our primary vendor for most of the things that we do that are pool related. The water tank is a project that I've been working with Mr. Riggio on. So moving forward with that purchase of the new water pit, we take all the components that we need to have that are new and good condition, like the situation we're in now. So we're ready to order that pit, and then working with Mr. Riggio and his contacts at the Water Authority, we'll be able to get that in at a substantial savings of tens of thousands of dollars. Getting the cooperation of the Water Authority, we'll be able to do that dramatically. I think this project will finish right around $50,000. We anticipated it costing pretty well above that. So there was substantial savings there. I think that rounds out the projects that they're moving on right now.
Thank you very much. The board have any questions regarding the chiller? Why the recommendation is for the Huckabee chiller, the new entire component versus the renewal component? Any questions or concerns on that?
How old is the one that would have to be renewed? I mean, I guess how old is the one we got right now?
15 years old, and half of it is been compromised for a period of time. All of the agreement laid out. We got a person's failure as well. So I'm very suspect condition of oil, which is how we're right now. We're not
So I guess that's the main justification. And like, this thing's old. It's not like 5 years old. This thing's 15 years old. We might as well start over, right?
Yeah, and the way they will cause it to be replaced by us.
Gotcha. Thank you.
I think that we were very interested, I'm so sorry. I think we were interested in the renewal project initially and thought that would be a great path to go until we realized the components that weren't included in that replacement. And then if one of those components, and correct me if I'm wrong, the coils went, which some of them are, there's two, and one of them already has issues. Is that correct? So if the other one went, it would be up to a $50,000 to $60,000 replacement. And at that point, you might as well, we should have just went with the new option. So we didn't want to cut off our nose to spite our face, for lack of better words. It was still about $100,000 under budget, which was attractive. And hopefully that'll help with not only the effectiveness and the efficiency, but also the sound. Any other?
I was just curious about, is there a warranty package included in the price by chance?
Which?
Is there a warranty package?
Yeah, the warranty, I believe the compressor warranty is 5 years, giving you follow a verifiable maintenance path. So it's 5 years for the compressor, and that would be the heart of the whole system.
Is that a physical warranty for it?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, but they want a maintenance plan in place, and they want to know that we did it.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you. I think that Mr. Riggio, so we have a scoreboard item on the agenda, and Mr. Riggio is here and can kind of speak to how that came about. I believe this company found us in early June and approached you and Mr. Ford about this opportunity, and you could just kind of share with the board a little bit about it. I know that the agenda item is a little bit later, but it's an opportune time for you.
As we get started, could you just remind us where that is on
So
the
that would be
agenda?
under athletics on the agenda all the way down.
Still getting the hang of it.
And athletics right there.
Thank you, thank you.
So it was actually somewhat earlier than June. I received an email from a company called Digital Scoreboards, who work primarily in the eastern part of the state of New Jersey and up and down the coast, and then also like towards the Chicago area. They approached 3 schools in Western Pennsylvania, Beaver, Montour, Blackhawk, with a proposal to provide us with 2 digital scoreboards for our gymnasium free of cost. The only cost that would be borne by the school would be $7,500 per year to run the software for the iPads which run the scoreboards. They're only, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Solicitor, they do have in the agreement that they have exclusive rights to advertising on the scoreboards. However, if we make a referral and any one of our referrals buys a package, we get 25% of that money back directly towards that to offset that cost of $7,500. The way it was pitched to Mr. Ford and I was that because of our academic and athletic success, Blackhawk, Beaver, and Montour were their candidates for this part of the state. Going through reviewing the agreements, and the solicitor made some comments, I believe they were all accepted by the scoreboards. I think at this point, if the board so chooses, if we decide to move forward, we're still probably 2 or 3 months away from actual installation, which would be pretty much a prime time because it'll be right in between the end of our fall season before our winter season began. Pretty much that's the long and short of the scoreboard proposal. I have some frequently asked questions. If there's some questions on the board or anybody has, I'm more than welcome to try to answer them.
How many scoreboards are going in where?
There'll be 2, replace both the existing scoreboards inside the gymnasium at the high school.
At the high school, so just the high school gym
Yes, so
and 2 boards there.
currently the scoreboards are not, I don't know what they're called, are they LED? They go up?
The lights are, that's all.
Okay, so there's no video portion to the scoreboards in the gym. They're both, I think, 9 by 9. Their proposal on $150,000 for the scoreboards is a 12 by 17 video board and a 7 by 10. I have pamphlets that more I'll share with you, show some pictures.
Sometimes when it sounds too good to be true, it might be.
So it's a lease,
It's a lease.
it's a lease agreement. It's what they do, and their sponsors pay for it. So that's, free, but it's a lease area over a 10-year period. And then the district has the opportunity to then replace or, to continue, with that lease or to purchase.
Yeah, and the way they described it to us was that after the initial 10-year agreement, if there was a desire to continue with them, they'd be willing to do a 3-year or a 5-year, whatever. Depending on the useful life of the scoreboard, I guess we'd have to make a determination at the end of the 10 years.
Who is responsible for maintenance of the boards once they're installed?
There's a warranty, but it's not that long of a warranty. And according to them, and Mr. Ford asked the question about things like PE classes and crossballs and stuff like that. And they said they're all 12 by 12 boards, and it's just a matter of actually replacing the boards.
And that would be something that they would do or we would do?
After the warranty, to be honest. But
I think it's a manufacturer's warranty, but the school district is responsible for ongoing maintenance if there's, manufacturer defects.
They did, that was one of the big questions we had at the beginning. Whenever we asked that question, they gave us a litany of different things that could happen. And, everybody that I've actually called a bunch of places that have installed already and talked to both Beaver and Montour. Montour's installation just got completed roughly a month or so ago. And they couldn't speak highly enough about it.
No hiccups?
Not at all.
What do you think the likelihood of us being able to offset the $7,500 with sponsorships is?
Well, I went through and pulled all of the commercial businesses in our district, and I think I came up with roughly 40 or 50 possible referrals. And I drafted a letter that we would eventually send out to those 40 or 50. I think it's very highly that we would be able to get enough to offset 75.
I bet we do.
One last question from me, sorry, everyone. What would be the price for us to purchase and update the boards if we didn't do this lease program?
$152,000.
152.
Yeah, that's the value of the scoreboards.
That's crazy.
And at the end of the 10-year agreement, and I spoke to the gentleman this morning, at the end of the 10-year agreement, there will be some value to those scoreboards after they fully depreciate, obviously. And then that value can be offset with purchasing new equipment or just continuing on if the boards are okay in the 10 years, then we would have no cost after the 10 years.
Thank you, Mr. Riggio and Mr. Ford, for working on this. Technology-wise, I mean, this is going to give students an opportunity to run scoreboards, and hopefully, if someone has that interest later after high school going into college, they'll have a good media background for that. Not only sports, but if we had to move graduation inside, we could use it for that also.
One of the big pluses that it's not only an athletic scoreboard, it's an academic scoreboard as well.
Pep rallies. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, moving right along. Mr. Hicks, would you like to? So if the board remembers, last year we had an administrative presentation agenda. And the administrators throughout the year would have specific presentations, whether it is on their specific building, whether it's an initiative, an overall assessment that they have done. So this year is no different. There is an agenda set, and I will share that with you so you know which administrator will then be reporting which month. But Mr. Hicks drew the short straw to get the first aspect. He joined us late last spring, early summer, and he's been working all summer, assessing, evaluating, and getting us ready to start the year. Some of his team is here, which he may have an opportunity to highlight for us. And it's an exciting time. So there's a lot of information, but when you have someone coming into a new position, it isn't unusual to have that, and we just kind of take it in and see where we need to go. So let me pull your presentation up and give me a second. Okay.
Good evening. Thank you for having me in, and I look forward to going through the presentation. This, as Dr. Bennett had mentioned, I became the technology director on May 12th of this year. And from the very first day, it was go, go, go. My goal was to look at the district with a fresh set of eyes, apply some experience, and hopefully be able to create a sustainable plan for the future for the district. Over the summer, we've been busy, so we've installed a new email filtering system. We've installed a new backup server system. We've updated all the server systems with the latest current software patches that we could. We have repaired servers that were not functioning properly. We have upgraded approximately 350 workstations in this lab. We've upgraded 650 workstations in Microsoft Office 365. We've configured approximately 250 iPads. We have planned 2025-2026 hardware refresh to refresh equipment that is aging. And then we also removed aging equipment from 2 labs, which were way beyond their time. That was equipment from 2015 to 2017. As far as technology integrations, we've integrated Parent Square, we've integrated Linkit, we integrated the South Snap programs. We are at the tail end of repairing the out-classroom issues. We have repaired issues with Jamf, which is a system that runs the iPads, some push-out software, things like that. cleaned up some various district utility applications. We have just finished preparing Active Directory with some last minute scripts that we ran today. And we are currently integrating social media into the website. So those are all initiatives that we are either finished with or on the tail end of completing. One thing we also did is we brought in the Blackhawk School District Technology Committee. My goal with this committee was to establish a group of technology leaders within the district so that we can have conversations about how technology will be used within the district and what are our priorities. It is a group that consists of administrators, teachers, secretarial staff. Past two meetings that we've had have been very productive and we've been able to come to some conclusions on some very important things. We have discussed the staff device refresh and what the priorities would be for the staff that we would like to see. We have also provided 2 surveys to the staff, one on displays and the other on devices as well. We'll continue meeting throughout the year because there are plenty of initiatives that I want to address. So in 2025, 2026, we have some very lofty goals. Some of these goals are forced upon us due to Windows 11 or Windows 10 becoming obsolete next month or in October of 2025. So we did look at refreshing the district server infrastructure. Some of the servers are 13 years old. Some of the camera servers, they are all end of life. They are not supported by the manufacturers anymore. We cannot receive security updates. We cannot receive patches. The teacher devices at Blackhawk High School and the middle school here, they all are older. They will not support Windows 11, and of course, they need to be upgraded. Teachers are going into year 5 of their iPad plan. So we are looking at doing a refresh of those so they can be more compatible with the students throughout all grades. And then we developed a new revised iPad refresh plan for students because the current plan does not sustain for enough years. So one thing I would like to say is outside of the intermediate school and the Addison Primary School, majority of staff devices are obsolete. So our goals for the 2025-2026 software systems, we need to improve our cybersecurity footprint. Right now, it is probably, I would rate it 6 out of 10. There are solutions in place, however, they are not as robust, which is one of the reasons why we implemented the backup software system. We are planning on converting the outdated VMware environment to a Hyper-V environment. That is partially due to cost. Hyper-V is free, it's provided by Microsoft, and VMware has gotten quite expensive. That would be roughly a savings of $15,000 to $20,000 to the district, just moving that solution. We're going to migrate the servers to new updated operating systems, which we already have the software for, thanks to the Microsoft 365 environment and our agreement with IE13. We are going to continue to improve the Jamf environment through automation of being able to manage iPads and push out software to the different students in the different buildings. We will integrate website and social media thoroughly, and we're going to continue to automate systems rapidly. There are a lot of systems that are causing us to use manual processes. So my goal was to eliminate those as much as possible. That will help us maintain more efficiency. It will help us reduce costs, and it will also enable us to cut down on errors of manual labor. So far as hardware systems, 2025, 26, basically we need to replace the 2 server systems that we have in the district. They are completely end of life. They were end of life in 2020. So they have They have seen their days. There is not, I cannot get an update for them. I cannot get a service back for them. They are maxed out. If they have a security issue, that is going to be a problem. Another thing that we have is a phone server. It is 13 years old, and it does need some minor upgrades, which are much less than to get a new phone server. So that just the phone system hardware and software upgrades for that endeavor is only $20,000. So it's a small portion. Then we had to look at staff devices for iPads, laptops, docking stations for laptops, so they can connect to the convenience, and the smart displays. I was not planning on doing monitors. However, last week we had about 7 monitors go bad, so I have to factor in probably new monitors, keyboard as well. For the student devices, we're looking at revitalizing the iPad initiative. Currently, 9th grade students receive new iPads. There hasn't necessarily been a plan that gives students iPads in the earlier grades. What happens in the 12th grades, students return their iPads and they go down to the kindergarten first grades. That then pushes that iPad to the 6th-year initiative. That's going a little bit beyond their life, so somewhere around 2nd grade, 3rd grade, we're going to need to put in an influx of new devices to get them through middle school. I don't think we can push the iPads beyond 6 years. Most schools do 3 rounds of 4 years for their districts. The total 2026 budget is only about $127,000 for the major replacements. Servers and phone system and the actual devices that we need to replace for our staff. This summer, I have not purchased any new devices because I wanted to have this meeting and basically discuss it. As the tech committee went through with everything, we started looking at the overall environment. I realized early in probably June that we needed to have this conversation. So it was one that I wanted to make sure that I have enough data to share and we can make a well-educated decision on it. I think I would like to see a warranty program for those devices implemented for the staff devices. And then I believe that we're going to need to pivot to a lease versus buy financial plan for those devices. In the past, it seems as I look through what has been done in the past, they were just a lot of small chunk of money and replacing each building. That was not refreshed fast enough over the years from 2018 all the way up to current 2025. So therefore things have fallen behind. As I said earlier, some of the labs that we just removed hardware out. Those machines are anywhere from 8 to 10 years old. So the proposed budget just for that hardware is $547,000. The current so ultimately, our goal is to move towards device sustainability because we need to be able to kind of at least have a roadmap of where we need to go from year to year. This is a rough plan that I put together for the next 8 years. This takes into consideration that we would purchase or we would go with a lease for the initial hardware that we need for this year. And from 26 to 29, we would purchase iPads for 2 grades. We would have that financial burden plus the lease year to year through that period of time. The hardware in the intermediate school and Patterson will get us to approximately 2029. sorry, 2030. But in 2029 to 2030, we need to look at replacing infrastructure, switches and wireless access points. This summer, I engaged with a different vendor and I secured a much lower cost on our wireless access points licensing than we have received in the past. So that was a 3-year deal, which is de-rated, so we will get a portion of that money back from year to year. However, that will be pushing our current wireless access points to approximately 9 years old. They will need a refresh by that point. Once we get to 2030, 2031, the entire district, staff devices and student devices will need a refresh. And that will be completely district-wide. And then 2032, 2035, those will be iPad upgrades and year-to-year plus cost of lease. These are big numbers, I understand. However, this is the plan. So we do have some individuals here with us. So we did hire a new individual in the department, and Sonia Patel. She is an administrative role that is focused on helping me integrate systems and focus on Skyward support and of course education collection. And then I'd like to also say a big thank you to 2 people who have been here for years. So Logan Linnell and Heather Pike, they have been having summer support here at the district. Logan's been here for 4 years and Heather's been here for 3. They officially told me it's time to grow up and they probably won't be back. They will be. We've had fun. They have been, I have learned from them. I hope they learned some things from me. But they were great to work with.
Thank you. Thank you. Now what do we do?
That's what I was thinking. So, I mean, this is a challenge out to, some of the younger staff, or some of the younger kids in the district that are 2 years.
Thank you very, very much. Any questions on Mr. Hicks' presentation? These are things that we'll be talking about a lot throughout the year. Choices that will bring stronger recommendations for. Obviously, there are some needs. I appreciate your candor, kind of thoroughly assessing and bringing everything forward. I know it's shocking, but sometimes you just got to look at it from an objective standpoint and figure out what is the best interest and what can we prioritize.
Will there be an opportunity for you and Mr. Hicks to share with us that prioritized list in the coming months?
Yes.
Is there anything that needs to happen before we see that prioritized list? Like, is there anything that's going to be needed for today? Let's say, is there an action item for us? This is just information. That's going to require a discussion next month.
Potentially, yeah. And we need to, the IT committee, I believe you guys are looking at devices and recommendations from that. And that will help us gauge a direction. And then what will we need? What do we need to do? Anything else?
In terms of the slide where we were looking at being a little bit more sustainable and long-term, when we were forecasting out to 2035, it looks like there's some options for buying or leasing. Will you also share with us your recommendations specifically about what might be our best option?
So
Maybe not.
No, I'm more than happy. I've helped many organizations. I think the benefit there is other options. But it's all about, you have the option to buy our help. So probably my recommendation would be to do a mix. For example, some of the services, warranty them up to 8 years. So that is one that I would say we're gonna do, we're gonna leave $40 buyout of those. We're gonna keep them out for 4 years. And then the whole pay costs outside of warranty which is, a couple $1,000. Then the nice thing about the lease is you're not taking a chunk of money all at once, putting it down, in September or October. It's a matter of we can stretch that. There are some very aggressive lending matters, where it's interest rates. The ability to get an aggressive price and an aggressive interest rate. And it also helps to formulate a partnership with the vendor that will make sure that everything is delivered on time, installed, and will work for this long time.
In the magnitude of our need, have you had any experience or know of any districts that have had any luck with writing grants for hardware or software?
So in the past several years, that's really been focused on camera systems and security. So that is one thing that I did not mention here. The server, 4 of the server systems that I'm looking at will fall and replace the current camera hardware that we have. And some of that is 13, 12 years old. Those have a tendency to have a great opportunity. Typically, there's not one for desktop.
Yes. You mentioned talking with some vendors, and a little birdie told me that you've done a great job of scouring the countryside and really finding us some great deals this summer. So thank you. I know how expensive these items are, and obviously, as we look to the future, we're going to have to continue to do that. But we appreciate your expertise, and we appreciate you being very conscientious in purchasing this summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I believe that's everything for this. We have an employee from the IU, Ms. Chelsea D'Amico is here this evening. We have an item on the agenda under, I think it's under personnel. That's okay, I'm just sharing with you because my screen's on. I don't know if you want to her to speak about the HR services pending recommendation with Beaver Valley Intermediate Unit while she's here. Mrs. Speaker, did you want to share anything? There's a chart that you created. It may be confusing because since we do partner with the IU, to explain what services we have with the IU and then what services this may include that may be different. She came to the intermediate unit last winter. I believe she was their first HR hire. And what the intermediate unit is trying to do is to provide those services throughout the county, because not many school districts have that department. So she willingly and graciously came this evening to share her expertise and how the intermediate unit will be supporting districts in this department moving forward.
And just as you start speaking, board members, we're looking at, I think, 9.3. Is that the chart that we're looking at right now?
That is the chart.
Thanks, Chelsea. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chelsea. I'm from the Valley. Earlier this summer, Dr. Donata and I have been speaking about potentially supporting your recruitment and staffing and onboarding initiatives here at Blackhawk. That happens to be my wheelhouse. I've done that for 13 years. So I bring some expertise that I might be able to provide to you here to bring on some new staff over the course of the next school year. Any questions?
Can you talk about some of the services that would be involved in this partnership if we engage in that together?
So to kind of kick things off, we have to look at your current job descriptions and evaluate where those stand. Yeah, I think jobs, vocational hours, start to recruit for the positions. I work closely with Dr. Bananas, when your staffing needs are for your district over the course of the year. It's not just limited to teachers, but we need an administrator or facilities or technology, coaches, things of that sort. We would then develop a plan to go out and recruit those individuals to join your district. We would look at different sources, so to speak. It may be great for certain things and not great for others. So we would fine tune where we would go out and recruit those individuals for you. From there, if you need help with developing interview questions, evaluation tools, reference tracks, rubrics, different like assessments that you do through the interview process to evaluate a candidate, those will be developed here through this process. And then also with onboarding. So once you have identified a candidate, you brought them through, you hired them here at the school board meeting, then they would go through the onboarding process. And I would make sure all of the paperwork is in line, all of the requirements met through the state to ensure that you were able to go ahead and move forward with this individual.
So costs that the district may have incurred, that we would incur for recruiting, reference checks, candidate evaluations, is that all then incurred by BBIU, or is that still a district expense?
That is all covered under this contract that is part of the agenda for the evening. So that cost.
How do you advertise for candidates?
Oh, it depends on the candidate. So everything's your time. Very little you get in a paper. We will use the paper for an advertisement if we need an administrator, and if that would be up to your decision, we would partner together to determine if there's any type of caution placed into a paper advertisement. But we have used Tri-State, Indeed, we have used for different online platforms, for teachers, we have used different vendors. They are posted through recruitment fairs through colleges and universities. So different things like Slippery Rock, Penn State, Robert Morris, recruit those teachers. And then just different recruitment fairs in the area we have launched.
Thank you.
So if we already have purchased some of those online subscriptions, let's say P-Educator, for example, would we no longer have to do that because we would have access to those programs through the BBIU?
So that would be your choice. We currently don't use P-Educator, we have it fine. But if you wanted to maintain that through P-Educator, we will.
Your questions?
Could you talk a little bit about like where does we talked about this earlier, like the burden for mistakes, the liability, like can you talk to us a little bit about issues that perhaps that could occur based on missing documents or not having something in somebody's file accurately, and where does that liability fall when we do a contracted service like this?
So I think that would have to be a conversation with council because I'm not sure. But I would make sure all of the documents are in line. I have a checklist that I've developed that makes sure all their certifications are there, all the clearances are there, the ICC forms are there. I have a thorough checklist that I do go through, so we should get it done.
And there is a provision in the agreement that would indemnify the school district for any actions that we're sued for that occurred due to the BVIU's actions, basically. So there is an indemnification provision in the agreement.
Question. Did you, Dr. Venata, the district, seek this service out, or did you offer it? How did it even happen?
So last spring, I was at a meeting, and Mrs. D'Amico, it was a form of superintendents at the IU where we meet monthly, and she was introducing herself, and she was talking to the group as to, this vision of services that she had. And I said, Chelsea, are you sure that you want to do this? And she said, yes. And I said, okay. So as I continued to think about her services and the needs at Blackhawk, I thought, this might be an opportunity. So then I reached back out to her and said, okay, let's maybe start talking more seriously about what the IU's vision is for helping school districts in Beaver County with HR services. And we are the first district to take her up on that opportunity and offer. And it's a 1-year agreement. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
And down semester by semester, and hopefully it's a beginning of a great partnership.
I was on the board that hired you over there.
Perhaps I'm not seeing it, but could we have the estimated cost of the contract for the year?
Certainly. So it's a $10,000 cost broken down into $5,000 each semester. It's for, I believe, 128 hours.
125.
125 hours for those services. And then if we go over at 125 hours, there is an hourly rate there. I want to be very mindful to monitor those hours closely. Mrs. Migo will also come and speak with our admin team at the end of the month to kind of go over when we would reach out to her, who's going to reach out to her, and iron out the details of that. Pending your approval.
Was this in our budget for this current school year? Is this a budgeted expense?
I don't believe so. I don't think we were aware of.
I believe we may not have, but we did have a resignation that wasn't replaced. So I think that was the thought coming into it. When a position wasn't replaced.
One final question. Have we looked at possible cost savings for maybe not purchasing programs like PA Educator? And could we know the difference in the savings, maybe just between now and next week?
Oh, sure.
Of what that might look like to help with that cost?
Of course. PA Educator is about $1,600. It's not an overly expensive option. And that was already in the budget. I didn't plan on eliminating this year again. This is just the beginning of it. I would hate to not have that when and if we would potentially need it.
Is that the only potential cost savings?
Yeah, I mean, we place ads. I don't know if there's a cost through Indeed. Tri-State, we are already a member through. PSBA, we're a member. PASA, same thing. So there aren't costs for advertisements there. But it's a security and liability thing. I trust her record keeping and accountability of making sure that we are following, these clearances have been checked, these recommendations have gone through, and all of those processes when we're onboarding or hiring or posting.
Do you have one final question? In terms of supervision for the person that would be assigned to our district, would that be on the BVIU or would that be on our staff?
Well, right now, she's the only one.
So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we have a student rep.
Welcome. Our new student rep, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Certainly.
We can share if it's not working.
I know.
Mr. Wisner's gonna pass his mic to you. It's free. There you go.
If you don't know me, my name is Jade Fred. I'm going to my senior year at Blackhawk, and I'm your student representative here. I just have a small little report for you wise to get into contact. The students are getting back into the routines because the schools need to study next week. Over the summer, we had our travel club take a trip to Greece for a week. And then we had a few students represent the school at TSA Nationals, that was big. And then our softball team went to state this year. And then we're excited to get into the school year and to get back into the routine. So that's all I think.
Thank you.
I forgot, did Mr. Riggio? Mr. Riggio received a wonderful award. Let's talk about recognitions. I believe, what was it? Was it Coach of the Year?
Coach of the decade.
Coach of the Decade. The Beaver County Times. So congratulations for your historic.
Thank you for the administrative presentations tonight. I know.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We're going to move to agenda item 3, public relations and communications. We are very proud of all of our students' achievements. We encourage everyone in our community to visit our social pages and to view our different social media. And on tonight's agenda, we can put on any of the schools to see some of those highlights. At this time, we have an opportunity for the public to speak on any board or agenda items. I don't believe we had anybody sign up. Is there anyone that would like to speak on agenda items that we didn't have a chance to
Sign in. We do not have a report tonight with the Beaver County Career and Technology, so we will move to the Beaver County MBA unit.
No report.
Looking at 7.1, I please have a motion to approve the board meeting minutes for the June 12, 2025 board meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Whitmer. Do you have a second?
Thank you.
Mr. Shaw? Any discussion on this item?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to finance. Mr. Schroeder.
And so this is the point where I ask Erin if she had anything on any of the items that she would like to discuss or illuminate us on.
Sure. Yes, so I actually put together a presentation regarding the APTA fund proposal to upgrade our financial system, which we may or may not be able to see. So just as a background, we currently use ProSoft. ProSoft is a financial application that has been in existence for quite a while. It's no longer being developed. And this is going to be on the first slide, but we'll go ahead and get started. So it uses an antiquated system for hosting, which makes it kind of difficult to log in. Kicks you out a lot, and saving reports is quite difficult because you have to save it on their site, not on ours. If you're working remotely, it makes it very difficult because you can't access that system. Sometimes it's difficult for users to find information. Information is stored in different modules. So an example of that is our payroll and personnel information. Those two are distinct modules in ProSoft. They don't speak to each other. They don't double check each other. So sometimes there could be information in one system that doesn't match, not system, but module, in one module that doesn't really match in the other. Information is stored by fiscal year. So you have to switch in between years to see the information, which is tedious in some cases. Reports don't contain headers that are meaningful, so you have to look back in the system to make sure that you're understanding what information is in which column of the report. So it's just, it's an antiquated system and difficult to use. AptiFund is ProSoft's next version. They've been working on this for a while. They've been in other states for a while. They don't have a big presence in Pennsylvania yet. We did visit a district in Johnstown that uses it and has been using it for quite a while. I think they were probably one of the first in Pennsylvania to use AptiFund. And it's a much more advanced version of ProSoft. So what I did is I just put together some of the highlights of the system that we enjoyed seeing when we were visiting Johnstown and when we went through a couple of the demonstrations. I apologize for my voice. My allergies are acting up, so I do apologize for that. But this is the dashboard, which when you open up the system, it lets you quickly see what actions you need to take. If you have a requisition that needs to be approved, it's going to be shown on there. If you have reports to be used frequently, you can save them here and you can access them immediately. You don't have to manipulate multiple menus or go through different modules to find them. The reports have search fields that are customizable, so you can have more refined searches. So you're not digging through a lot of extra data when you're building reports. They're also available in more areas, which allows more flexibility in managing tasks. So if I have, at the beginning of the school year, as you can imagine, I have hundreds of requisitions that I approve. So if I want to just approve those for the high school, I can search and filter down and make it a little bit more manageable for these different kinds of tasks. There are hyperlinks in this system, which to me is one of the big positives. You can drill down on any of those blue highlighted areas and it brings up the information rather than having to exit a module, open a different module, open a different menu, go through that process. As I was talking about some of the reports in ProSoft, you don't know what columns you're looking at. In AptiFund, it has everything, it pops out to Excel immediately. So you don't have to save a report, you can just open it and it brands your reports. It has headers that are meaningful and so you can tell what the information is. A lot of times you have multiple columns of numbers, dollar amounts. So it's current year, prior year, year to date, current month. This tells you exactly what you're looking at without manipulation. And one of the other things that I really like is the information on the parameters that you use are actually in that report. I know it's very difficult to see, but row 3 up there under this trial balance report, it shows which object you picked, which function you picked. So if you're trying to recreate a report or somebody is wondering, what was in a system, it lets you know that that is actually the object that you chose to run for that report and not just relying on, oh, I think I picked the right one. It's actually on the report. And one of the reasons that I would like to do this now is we have the opportunity to be part of the Founders Cohort. What the Founders Cohort is going to do is allow us to have a lot more interaction with the team at AptiFund. We're going to work with a couple other school districts that are signing up to go through this process at the same time. So we'll be meeting regularly. We'll be talking about what we're seeing, what we think can be enhanced, anything that can really make the process better and the system better. So of course there is a cost. implementation fee of $35,900. We do get a discount on that for being part of the founders cohort because they're going to be learning from us as much as we're learning from them. So they did offer us a little bit of a discount on that. And then the annual fee, which we pay an annual fee for ProSoft as well. The annual fee is about $30,000.
And what is our annual fee for ProSoft right now?
That's on the next slide. We're actually, the annual maintenance fee would be about $2,500 less than what it is currently. So for the first year, depending on when we would go live, we would pay prorated amounts for each system. So they would refund whatever we didn't use on the annual maintenance for ProSoft, and then we would just pay a prorated fee for AptiFund for whatever part of the year we use.
So the maintenance fee is basically a wash,
Basically, it's that.
but the implementation fee, that's the cost.
That's a one-time out-of-pocket, yes. One other couple of things we've been looking at for this, we did decide not to do our real estate tax collector audits this year. We're doing that in-house in my department where we're reviewing everything on a monthly basis. That, in addition to our normal annual audit by our auditors, will cover what we need to do as far as those tax collector audits. I know it's not a lot, but we found a vendor that is giving us a better price on copy paper. So we'll save a couple $1,000s there this year. And then obviously we'll continue to review costs for additional savings in other areas.
What was the net? I didn't subtract all of that as you were going.
So I still have about
13?
12, 13, yeah. So last slide is just if you have any questions. And if you ask Mr. Hicks, who is up here, he will tell you what a
No, you gotta have it, right?
So, well,
It's
my
obvious.
first year in the district, I had the experience of cutting video. Typically, there's no slate on that. So a lot of software companies, when they build their solutions, they go through the space where they run lines. So they're running right now to help to trying to get everyone to go into the newer system. That is very common right now. Many companies have done it, and they've support the software solutions long term. Their system relies on remote desktop, so we're connecting into a server system that they're in control of. That is probably not exactly the best way to do it. I would rather see it as a browser solution. It's a lot.
Does this enhance security at all, or is it the same?
I think overall, it would be it's just more secure solution. The current environment that they have, it's not that it's not secure, but as it has features, eventually everyone's going to have to migrate from that. I mean, it's just like the Windows 10 environment. It is ran its course and it's time to move on to a new system.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you.
Is there anything else on the financial stuff that you wanted to bring up?
Oh, do you have questions for me?
So I'd like to make a motion that we add the finance consent items 8.1 to 8.7 to the agenda for the August 21st, 2025 voting. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait.
I'm not allowed to do that.
I'm sorry, wait. I'm sorry, I missed that you said.
Just adding it to the agenda.
Okay, so motion by Mr. Shope, a second by Mrs. Mansell. Do we have any discussion on these items? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Shope. Okay, we're moving on to personnel. 9.1 is the human resources report. 9.2 is the updated encouraged hire list. 9.3 is the human services, the VIU contract and program services that we just reviewed a couple of minutes ago. 9.4 is a settlement. And then 9.5 moves into a vote on the consent items 9.1 through 9.4. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the personnel consent items 9.1 to 9.4?
I will.
Thank you, Mrs. Mansell. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Do we have any discussion on these items? Before voting, I would like to ask the board if we could pull 9.3, human services with the VIU contract from the consent agenda item. And now that we've had some additional information that's provided us tonight, just to give us a little bit more time to think about that for voting for next week. So I would like to make a motion to pull 9.3 from the consent agenda item and leave 9.1, 9.2, and 9.4.
I actually second that. I agree. I meant to push.
To table it? Just to table 9.3.
So yeah, so we vote on that motion and then vote on the underlying motion for all the other items. Correct? Yeah, that's the two votes.
Okay. Do we need to vote on the first one first?
Yes,
Or-
I would vote on the vote to table or to remove that first.
Okay.
And then we'd vote on everything else.
Okay, so we have a motion to pull 9.3 and table that for tonight. We have a second with Mrs. Mansell. Do we have any discussion on that item?
To make a comment, that's all. I'm not 100% convinced that we need to spend that much money. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll talk louder. I just wanted to comment that as wonderful as it sounds, I'm not so sure we need to spend that much money when we're already operating in the hole. We actually are. That's all. That's why I'd like more information.
Any other questions or discussion on tabling 9.3 until next week?
I have a quick question. So who is providing HR services right now? How are we covering that? Is it just, we don't have a person assigned as an HR
Correct.
person, right? It's by the administrative staff, right?
Correct.
So we're trying to plug a hole that we have as an organization. Somehow, we could either hire someone at some point. We continue doing what we're doing, right? We could hire a full-time HR person to be in the administration of the school district, or we could go this third route, right? And so I agree, I think we should table it, but I just want to get clarification on that, right? Okay.
One thing I was gonna mention too is, I'm so, okay, at the table.
Speak up.
I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well. I'm so good at the idea of tabling it, but, we've had difficulties with, employing in the past, on many different levels. We've had, issues with the, criticisms over our manuals for hiring, all those things. So I think there definitely are some benefits, but, it would just be good to have some little extra time just to mull things over and look at numbers and see how things make sense.
Yeah, Adam, I completely agree. I just, given that we got a lot of information tonight, I just would like to have a little bit more time to think about it. Given that we've had those issues in the past, and I definitely think that plugging those holes to Matt's point, is a great idea. But was hoping that we might be able to find some savings in some other areas. So just want to I just personally like some more time. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, we'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We will revisit that motion next week. And at this time, I think we are back to needing a motion to
Correct.
move 9.1, 9.2, and 9.4 to the consent for personnel. So do we have a motion to approve 9.1, 9.2, and 9.4 tonight?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Zakowitz. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Shea. Any questions or discussion on those? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now move on to education for advancement.
All right, so we have items 10.1, which is just an informational item about our Robert Morris University affiliate agreement for student teaching. I'm not sure if anyone remembers our previous stuff like that, but and then the next one is an MOU for Geneva College. And correct me if I'm wrong, if I read this, it's basically a way to streamline our students to going into Geneva.
Yes, so the Geneva agreement is basically, and Dr. Houston, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you've told me 3 times now and it is not sticking in my head. It's they waive the application procedure, so it's a benefit for our students to then have an opportunity to apply there, and their fees and applications are waived, correct?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect, thank you.
I'm guessing I just need to add 10.2 to next week's agenda, because that's all I have there.
So information items.
So they're both, yeah, only one of them was listed as informational, so that's why I was, wasn't sure.
Needs to be added to next week,
Mhm.
Yes.
Both of them are voting next.
just 10.2.
Oh, so just 10.1's informational, 10.2 is going to next week.
I'll make a motion to add item 10.2, the Geneva College MOU direct admissions to the voting session agenda for next week.
So,
Get it?
oh, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We will stick with you, Mr. Van Horn, for support purposes.
So we have items 10 or 11.1, which is a Western Psych agreement. 11.2, which is an agreement with ATO for speech and language services. An agreement 11.3, occupational services from Heritage Valley. And 11.4, which is the class academy, just educational services, credit recovery, and lost it. And then that should be it, because it's the consent agenda. Can I get a, actually, I'll make the motion to add support services consent items 11.1 through 11.4 to the agenda for our voting meeting next week.
Sorry, Mr. Van Gelinge, could you please repeat that?
I'm going to make a motion to add the support services consent items of 1.1 through 1.4 to the agenda for August 21st, 2025 voting meeting.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Thank you. Any questions or discussion on 11.1 through 11.4? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. Athletics and activities, Mr. Wisner.
Okay, 12.1 is approving Blackhawk logos, and 12.2 is the scoreboard agreement in terms of service that Mr. Riggio explained. So may I have a motion to add athletics and activities consent items 12.1 and 12.2 to the agenda for August 21st voting session.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Kell. Do we have any questions or discussion for 12.1 or 12.2? I thought the logos looked great. Okay, let's go ahead and vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Buildings and grounds, Mr. Schultz.
13.1 facilities rental fees. I have a question with that, Dr. Bonetta. What's the rationale behind our fee amounts? More so to the ancillary fees.
So if you look at the rental forms, this is something that I think came to the board at one point, but we wanted to make sure that was solidified. The ancillary fees and charges simply are in alignment with our collective bargaining agreements. So what those total costs are, is time and a half, because it may include overtime for the highest paid employee within that group. So if you look at, let me open it up. $45 an hour custodial, well, that might be a head custodian that bids because it goes by seniority if it's overtime, and that would be a time and a half rate for a head custodian. If you look at this office use, total hours, estimated cost, if someone that doesn't necessarily have that high of an hourly wage gets the service or the job, then the cost may not be that much. So that's finalized through the athletic department. But those rates are based upon typical rates, and I do see an error there. I believe the lifeguard is 15, not 10. Yeah, we need to make a note of that. I don't know how the old one got on there, but we can modify that for next week if the board agrees to that. But that's how those rates came about.
Okay. 13.2, the Wilkins contract. That's our 5-year contract for emergency call buttons. 13.3, Mr. Fleshman talked about the roof, the units on the roof. 13.4, also Mr. Fleshman talked about the chiller replacement. Can I make a motion to add 13.1 through 13.4 to the agenda for next week's voting session?
We have a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussions on 13.1 through 13.4?
I guess I just wanted to note, now that I look at the notes, is that, so Mr. Fleischman gave a presentation and he had some recommendations there. So the motion would be, next week would be to have a recommendation. We'd accept his proposal basically, right? That's what we're saying. Is that we had some options. We had options A, B, and C for one of them, for instance, for the chiller. And so it would be next week we would decide if we're going to do it and a recommendation for
Which
we would use, correct? Okay. also wanted to add thank you for all the hard work, and I know that was a lot of wheeling and dealing trying to get that thing done. And everyone in the neighborhood's been screaming at you because it's loud. So, thanks.
Any other questions or discussion items for 13.1 through 13.4? We will move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to 14, policy. We have 14.1, which is the policy 916 volunteers. I believe this is a first read. Is that correct?
It's simply a review of the policy.
review. Oh,
Nothing
thank
has
you.
changed.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's simply a review. In the
And we're
spring-
reviewing that, given the fact that we'll have lots of volunteers coming into our schools over the
Yes.
next, okay.
And Mrs. Baroni actually went back and reviewed the volunteer procedures and processes and made some updates to it. If you recall in the spring, when we were going through all of our policies, that one was held off because I knew that she would be looking into our volunteer processes. And if we needed to make any modifications to the policy to fit changes she made, we would do it at that time. However, she reviewed the policy and said, no, if we don't, there's nothing in the policy we need to change.
We do have a volunteer improvement. We now have a district-wide database. So you can turn your clearances into one building and you're on one database. It's going to be much more convenient, especially for parents in multiple schools. And it's a huge thank you to the secretaries because they have been working, they worked with me to do it and they're working on implementing it. So they did a great job.
Thank you. 14.2 is a new policy, and this is where we have the first read of the small agreement. So could I please have a motion to approve the first read of the new policy 913.1 small agreements?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Mansell. Need a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mrs. Show. Any questions for discussion about policy 913? Moving to a vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. At this time, we have an opportunity for the public to make comments on any non-agenda items. If you'd like to do that, either please come to our podium. I believe there's probably 2 microphones up there at this point, and just let us know your name and municipality, please.
I'd like to raise a few more questions and concerns tonight. At the June 12th board meeting, the 2025-2026 school budget was approved, which included a tax increase to the state approved index, something that was certainly needed. At that time, the budget reflected a deficit of $769,045, with the shortfall covered by the general fund. Despite the significance of this financial decision, there was no public discussion during that meeting regarding budget details, so I'm happy to see there's been discussion. Now we are being asked to consider additional expenditures that were not part of the approved budget. While I recognize that some of these items are necessary, which calls into question how they were overlooked in the first place, others are more questionable. And I have expressed concerns about them in the past. What is the district's plan for funding these added expenses? If one section of the budget is already underfunded, how can we be confident that the rest of the budget is solid? Most importantly, what else was left out of the 25-26 budget? One item that's sent out tonight is the outsourcing of human resources. The district has operated for over 50 years without a dedicated human resources department. Why is outsourcing suddenly necessary now? Are we achieving cost savings by eliminating existing positions? It sounds like it. What is the justification for this new and ongoing expense? Additionally, I'm concerned by the decision to eliminate 3 teaching positions. These positions could have been used to help reduce class sizes particularly in grades K to 2. Last year, most classes at those levels had 24 or 25 students, roughly 6 more than what is considered optimal for early childhood education. Larger class sizes are proven to negatively affect student learning, especially in the early years. This issue is made worse by the district's ongoing challenges in maintaining adequate support staff. We owe it to our students to provide a better learning environment. To be direct, the current pattern of constant spending and short-term budgeting threatens the financial health of the Blackhawk School District. At the current pace, the general fund could be depleted in 2 years or less. That is deeply concerning. I urge the board to rein in unnecessary expenditures and keep the district's mission to empower all students to achieve their best every day in preparation for tomorrow at the forefront of every decision. Some may argue that individual costs, $11,000 for the student program, or $16,000 or $18,000 from previous meetings are small amounts. But collectively, these expenditures add up quickly. Money that could be redirected toward hiring paraprofessionals or teaching staff that are critical to student success. Now we need to ask ourselves the hard question. Which students are going to have a diminished school experience because funds were spent on non-instructional software or outsourced services rather than direct classroom support? Thank you.
Yeah, so 16.2 school directors. Our next meeting will be held on August 21st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. I know I thought tonight's meeting was at 6. And it will be right here in the Highland Middle School auditorium. At this time, I please have a motion for adjournment.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Sanborn. Do you have a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Have a great night.
I think I've done this.